I never thought family could bankrupt you twice. First with love, then with lies. My sister, Lila, swiped my credit cards for a Vegas bender that drained $50,000 in one weekend. But the real gut punch? She did it while I was undercover, posing as a mark in the very fraud ring she was feeding intel to. And when the feds raided her hotel suite at dawn, her eyes locked on mine through the handcuffs. She whispered, "Quinn, you set me up?" "Yes, sis, I did. Because loving you meant letting you fall, until the fall dragged us both into hell." The fluorescent hum of the Bureau's interrogation room buzzed like a swarm of angry hornets, but it was Lila's silence that drilled into my skull. I'd spent the last 8 months buried in this case, chasing shadows of a syndicate that laundered cash through offshore poker apps and high-roller suites. As a federal banking investigator with the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit, my days blurred into nights of wire transfers, shell companies, and burner phones. But Lila? She was my blind spot, the one constant in a life of aliases and stakeouts. Or so I thought. It started innocently enough, or at least that's the story I told myself. Growing up in Reno, close enough to smell the sagebrush and sin from the Nevada border, Lila and I were the O'Connells, scrappy Irish-American kids raised by a single mom who waitress doubles at the peppermill. Dad bailed when I was 5, chasing some pipe dream in California, leaving us with nothing but his gambling debts and a stack of maxed-out cards. Mom drilled it into us. Debt's a thief in the night, steals your soul before your sleep. I took it to heart, clawed my way through UNR on scholarships and side gigs, landing at Quantico by 26. Lila? She chased the lights instead, dropping out after freshman year to sling drinks in Tahoe, then drifting south to Vegas like a moth to the flame. We talked weekly, her voice bubbly over the line, mine clipped from another all-nighter auditing crypto wallets. "Quinn, you're missing out. Come see the shows, live a little," she'd tease. I'd laugh it off, send her a check for rent when she hit a rough patch. Family, right? Blood's thicker than the fine print on a subpoena. But 6 months ago, the case file landed on my desk, Operation Neon Phantom. A ghost network siphoning millions from online gambling sites, funneled through Vegas ATMs and high-limit rooms. My team traced it to a crew led by Victor Hale, a slick operator out of the Bellagio's VIP lounge, ex-Wall Street wolf turned casino whale. Hale's MO? Recruit desperate insiders, dealers, hostesses, even pit bosses, to skim chips and launder via dummy accounts. That's when her name popped, Lila O'Connell, flagged for suspicious transactions on a linked prepaid card. I buried it. Deep. Told my supervisor it was a false positive, a clerical error. Lied to myself that it was coincidence. Lila waitressing at the Cosmopolitan, pockets full of tips. But doubt gnawed like bad whiskey. I pulled strings, hacked her phone records off books. Texts to an unknown number. Got the cards? Need him quick. V's breathing down my neck. V. Victor. My stomach twisted. She'd always been the wild one, but this was crossing into my world. I confronted her over FaceTime, her face flushed from what smelled like tequila through the screen. "Lila, what the hell? You're pinging Hale's burners." She blinked, all wide-eyed innocence. "Quinn, it's nothing, just borrowing a little to cover the house. Victor's a friend, helps girls like me out." "Friend?" "Yeah, and I'm the Easter Bunny." I could have reported it then, watched the cuffs snap on from a safe distance. But blood, that goddamn pull. Instead, I covered for her, falsified a report, rerouted the trace. "One chance, sis. Walk away." She promised. Swore on Mom's grave. And for a month, it held. Clean scans, no hits. I exhaled, buried myself deeper in the op, going undercover as Quinn Riley, a shady fintech consultant ripe for Hale's hook. Fake ID, rented Escalade, a suite at the Wynn. Met Hale at a private poker game. Him in a Brioni suit, me nursing a Macallan, dropping breadcrumbs about offshore opportunities. He bit hard. Invited me to the inner circle, where the real money flowed. Encrypted apps masking bets, couriers swapping cash for crypto in the valet lines. That's when Lila resurfaced. A text at 2 a.m. "Quinn. Riley. V says you're solid. Dinner." My blood ran cold. She'd flipped, or worse, been playing both sides from the jump. I played along. Met them at Delmonico's, steakhouse haze of cigar smoke and ego. Lila in a slinky red number, hanging on Hale's arm like she belonged. "This is my brother," she said, eyes flicking to me with a wink. "Brother." The word hung like a noose. Hale raised his glass. Family's everything in this town, Riley. Loyalty pays dividends. I smiled through gritted teeth, but inside, the betrayal sank hooks. She'd used me, my job, my access, to climb Hale's ladder. And the cards? That was just the appetizer. While I was embedded, feeding intel back to the team, Lila was skimming my alias's credit lines for expenses. $10,000 here for a spa day, $15,000 there for gifts to Hale's crew. By the time I noticed the alerts pinging my burner, it was $50,000 deep, a neon-lit hemorrhage. The hook was set. I didn't pull it. Not yet. Revenge isn't a sprint. It's a slow bleed. I let her dig the hole, documented every swipe, every Venmo to Hale's ghosts. Mom's words echoed, "Debt's a thief." But this thief was family, and family debts get collected in blood, or close enough. The raid went down at dawn on a Tuesday, the kind of Vegas morning where the sun hits the mountains like Judgment Day. SWAT breached the Cosmopolitan Suite, Lila's crash pad, courtesy of Hale. I was in the command van, heart hammering as the feed crackled. Suspect O'Connell, hands up. Her scream pierced the static, raw and animal. Hale bolted out the fire escape, but we had him pinned in the alley, zip-tied and snarling. Lila just stared as they dragged her past the van's tinted glass. Our eyes met through the one-way mirror. Recognition dawned, horror blooming. "Quinn," she gasped, as if seeing a ghost. You did this." The agents hauled her away, but her whisper clawed into me. "You set me up?" "Set her up?" "After she'd sold me out for chips and comped rooms?" I leaned back, the van's AC blasting cold against the sweat on my neck. "Yeah, Lila, I did. Because the betrayal wasn't the money. It was the lie that you'd drag me down with you, thinking I was just your safety net." Interrogation was a circus. Hale lawyered up quick, some shark from LA invoking Fifth Amendment rights like a mantra. Lila? She crumbled faster than a house of cards in a desert wind. Seated across the steel table in that sterile room, fluorescent lights carving shadows under her eyes, she spilled. "It started small, Quinn. Victor. He charmed me. Said I had potential, not just another cocktail girl. Gave me a taste. Easy money, no strings." Strings? The web was tangled from the start. She'd been his runner for months, ferrying cash-stuffed envelopes to ATMs, logging dummy bets on apps I'd personally flagged as dirty. "And the cards? I needed a boost," she sobbed, mascara streaking like war paint. "Your name popped up in his system, some alias, but I knew it was you. Thought it'd be victimless, like borrowing from Peter to pay Paul." Victimless. Tell that to the retirees who'd lost nests to Hale scams, or the ghost of Mom, who'd scrubbed floors to pay off Dad's tabs. I leaned in, voice low. "You used me to fund your fairy tale, Lila, while I was risking my badge to shield you." Her eyes widened, feigned shock, or maybe the real kind finally hitting. "Shield me? You covered my tracks?" "What?" "Because I loved you, idiot. Because in a world of wire fraud and warrantless searches, family was the one fraud I couldn't audit." But I didn't say it. Instead, I slid the plea deal across the table, right on Hale, full immunity. She signed, tears splashing the ink. Just like that, the syndicate cracked, Hale's empire folding like a bad bluff. But closure? That's a myth for Hallmark cards. Walking out of the bureau that night, the strips glow mocking me from afar, I felt the hollowness settle. Lila walked free, probation and a slap on the wrist, relocated to some nowhere town in Utah under witness protection. Me? Demoted for the unauthorized access I'd buried to protect her. The team whispered, O'Connell's soft spot cost us leads. Hale's crew scattered, but the rot lingered in me. Revenge whispered then, a serpent in the sage. Not the clean kind, with badges and bars. The personal one, where debts compound with interest. I started small, anonymous tips to her new landlord about tenant history, watching her scramble for a new zip code. Then deeper, hacking her fresh accounts, ironic, using the skills that got me in this mess, siphoning pennies into ghost wallets. A drip, not a flood. Enough to make her question every overdraft, every denied swipe. She called once, voice trembling from a Boise burner. "Quinn, is this you? My cards. They're acting up. Like back in Vegas." I let silence stretch, then, "Karma's a bitch, sis. Pays in full." Click. The line went dead, but the thrill? Electric. Dark? Yeah. You unlike the underbelly of a casino floor. Controversial? Hell, I'd lose sleep arguing it myself. Was I the hero cleaning house, or the villain twisting the knife in kin? Weeks blurred into a haze of stakeouts and spite. My next op, a Ponzi ring in Miami, but my head was in Utah, mapping Lila's moves via scraped socials and satellite pings. She was rebuilding, barista gig, AA meetings, even a boyfriend, some ex-con turned life coach, preaching redemption. I laughed, bitter. Redemption's earned, not preached. The twist hit like a royal flush. Hale, from his cell in Ely State Prison, reached out through a smuggled note. O'Connell, your sister's singing louder than you think. Ask her about the Reno job. '09. Reno. Mom's death year. Car wreck, ruled accident, brakes tampered, but hushed up as faulty lines. I'd buried that too, convinced it was Dad's ghost paying a visit. But Lila? She'd been 19, interning at a garage, borrowing tools for quick cash. I drove north, the desert swallowing my rental's tires, heart pounding like a slot machine on tilt. Confronted her at a dingy diner off I-80, fluorescent tubes flickering over pie tins. The accident, Lila. You. Her fork clattered, coffee sloshing. Quinn, no. It was for us. Mom's debt's piling, you at school. I fixed those brakes for a payout, but it went wrong. I swear, I didn't mean to kill her. The words choked me. I'd shouldered the grief, the inquiries, lied to cops about her alibi, covered her crime, just like Vegas. Betrayal squared. She reached for my hand, pleading. Family, Quinn. We protect our own. Protect? She'd orphaned us twice. I pulled back, the booth's vinyl creaking like a confession. Your protection's poison. Time to pay the piper. That night, I escalated. Not petty drains, full sabotage. Froze her assets with forged liens, tipped her boyfriend's PO about associates. Watched from afar as her world crumbled. Eviction notice, him bolting, her sobbing into a payphone. Quinn, please. I'm sorry for Mom, for everything. Sorry's cheap, sis. Justice? Priceless. But Hale's note lingered, a barb. Turns out, he'd known about Reno. Used it to hook her in Vegas, promising to bury the file if she played ball. Moo MO, flipping loyalties like cards. He even tried buying me out once, pre-raid. Your sister's skeletons could use a deeper grave, Riley. I declined, but the seed? Planted. Climax brewed in a storm over the Great Salt Lake. Lila, cornered, drove to my Reno safe house. Uninvited, desperate. I met her at the door, rain sheeting off the porch like tears. End this, Quinn. Whatever it takes. Whatever. I invited her in, poured whiskeys, the peaty burn loosening tongues. She confessed it all. Reno was panic, Vegas ambition, Hale's web a trap she wove herself. I betrayed you because I envied you. Clean, climbing. I was the screw-up. Envy. The ugliest debt. I set the glass down, voice steady. Then pay it. Handed her a burner, Hale's direct line from prison. Flip him again. Get me the offshore keys, full access. Or I walk you in myself. Her hands shook, but she dialed. Hale's rasp crackled. Lila? Thought you were done dancing. She fed him lies, sweet as sin, extracting codes while I recorded. It worked. His empire's vault cracked wide, millions frozen by dawn. But the cost? Her eyes, hollow as the raids. This makes us even. Even. In America, debts compound eternal. I nodded, life slipping easy. As she left, taillights fading into the squall, I hit send on the final play. An anonymous packet to the DA, Reno files, her prints on the tampered line. No immunity this time. She vanished after that, a ghost in witness limbo. Me? Promoted back, medal pinned for exemplary closure. But mirrors lie now, reflect a man who avenged mom, sister, self. Or just another Hale, scheming in shadows. Was it justice? Or just vengeance's hollow jackpot? You tell me. In this neon republic, lines blur, and family? The cruelest bluff of all. The morning after the safe house showdown, I woke to the scent of stale coffee and regret, the kind that sticks like cigarette ash in a casino carpet. Reno's skyline loomed through the motel blinds, Truckee River murmuring below like it was whispering my sins back to me. Lila's taillights still burned in my retinas, red smears against the rain-slicked blacktop. I'd handed her the rope, watched her tie the noose on Hale. But that packet to the DA? That was the blade I twisted myself. Justice or jealousy? The bureau's shrink would call it moral ambiguity, but in my gut, it felt like payback's aftertaste, bitter, with a chaser of what-ifs. I hit the road south. 80 unspooling like a bad bet, radio crackling classic rock anthems that mocked my unraveling. Springsteen's Born to Run blared as Vegas rose on the horizon, a mirage of excess that had swallowed us both. The op was wrapped, Hale's crew in chains, but loose ends frayed at my edges. My phone buzzed. S.A.C. Ramirez, my supervisor, voice gruff over the speakers. O'Connell, get your ass to the field office. Brass wants a debrief, and not the sanitized version. The debrief was a grilling under the guise of glory. Conference room in the Henderson Annex, walls papered with flowcharts of frozen accounts. $12 million reclaimed. Headlines brewing for the 6 o'clock news. Ramirez paced, tie loose like a hangman's knot. You buried your sister's involvement. That's an ethics violation, Quinn. Could have tanked the whole op. I met his gaze, unflinching, and letting her skate would have tanked my judgment. She was the key. Turned her, got the codes. Clean win. He grunted, sliding a folder across the table. Clean? Hale's singing too. Says you were compromised from jump. Family ties and all. Compromised. The word landed like a marked deck. Hale, that silver-tongued bastard, flipping narrative from his 6x8 cell. I flipped the folder, transcripts of his calls, smuggled via a guard's niece. O'Connell's the real player. Fed him intel to shield her. Vegas was her playground. He just the mark. Lies, layered thick as blackjack smoke. But doubt? It creeps. Had Lila played me deeper? Reno 09 wasn't the only skeleton. Hale claimed she skimmed his crew pre-me, setting up the cards as payback insurance. Your sister's a chameleon, Riley. Green today, venom tomorrow. Chameleon. Fitting for the girl who dyed her hair platinum at 16 to reinvent, only to bleach it back when the tips dried up. I left the office with a slap on the wrist, probationary review, no medal yet, and a storm in my chest. Drove to the Strip on autopilot, the welcome to fabulous Las Vegas sign leering like an old flame. Parked at the Cosmopolitan, her old haunt, and bellied up to the bar where she'd slung Cosmos to high rollers. The bartender, a kid with sleeve tats and tired eyes, recognized the ghost in me. O'Connell? Yeah, she was fire, tips like confetti. Then poof, gone after that raid. Fire. Yeah, the kind that burns the house down. I nursed a bourbon, scanning the room. Slot zombies feeding bills to one-armed bandits, a bachelorette party shrieking over shots. Normalcy, the great American illusion. My burner pinged, a text from an unknown. Miss me, bro? Utah's cold without you. Lila. How? I'd scrubbed her access, but blood finds a way. We need to talk. Real talk. Meet at the 09 spot. Midnight. The 09 spot, that dive garage off Virginia Street, where Mom's Chevy had breathed its last. I arrived early, shadows pooling under sodium lamps, the air thick with motor oil and memory. 9 years since the crash, tires screeching on black ice, or was it sabotage? Metal twisting like a scream. I'd ID'd the body, held Lila as she wailed, buried Mom next to a plot Dad never visited. Covered the whispers, brake line nicked clean, not frayed. Cops called it accident. I called bullshit, but with Lila's prints? I'd filed it away, told myself it was grief talking. She pulled up at 11:58, a borrowed Civic rattling like her nerves. Stepped out in jeans and a hoodie, no makeup, looking every inch the fugitive. Quinn. One word, loaded. We hugged. Awkward, electric. Then inside, amid rusting toolboxes and faded calendars. She lit a smoke, illegal in Nevada garages, but rules bend for the damned. The packet, Reno. You sent it. I nodded, leaning against a workbench scarred from 1,000 fixes. You killed her, Lila. For what? $2,000 from some chop shop lowlife. Her exhale trembled, smoke curling like accusations. It was more. Mom was drowning. Your tuition, my tuition, Dad's ghost collectors calling at midnight. I thought. Fix the line, collect insurance, square us. Thought. The arrogance of youth, amplified by desperation. It slipped, too deep a cut. I panicked, told you I was out late with friends. Friends. The lie I'd swallowed, built my life around. Betrayal's roots run deep, twisting through decades. And Vegas? Same playbook. Use me as the patsy, skim the pot. She stubbed the cig, eyes flashing. No. Victor found out about Reno, blackmailed me into running for him. The cards? That was spite. You always the golden child, Quinn, FBI poster boy. I wanted to feel equal, even if it hurt. Hurt. Understatement of the century. We argued then, voices echoing off Cinderblock, a sibling showdown in the graveyard of Mom's dreams. Equal? You could have asked. I sent money, covered your ass, twice. She fired back. You pitted me. The screw-up sister, always needing rescue. Victor offered power, not pity. Power. The American dream's dark twin. Chase it, and it chases you back. Midnight tolled on a distant clock tower, and the door rattled. Uninvited guests. Two figures in black, faces obscured by balaclavas. Hale's remnants. Prison whispers turned street muscle. O'Connell's, the taller grunted, pistol glinting. Boss says hi. Loose lips sink ships, or sisters. Lila froze. I moved, years of Quantico drills kicking in. Grabbed a wrench, swung low. Crack against kneecap, grunt of pain. She joined, toolbox flying, chaos erupting in sparks and curses. We fought like cornered cats, me disarming the leader with a knee to the gut, her smashing a creeper jack into the second's temple. They bolted, tires squealing into the night, but not before the taller snarled. Hale's got more. Your debts ain't paid. Debts. Plural. As sirens wailed distant, we slumped against the wall, adrenaline crashing. This you're doing? She gasped. Me? No, but the web I'd spun invited spiders. We drove separate, her to wherever ghosts go, me to a bureau safe house with reinforced doors and regret. Sleep evaded, mind replaying the brawl, her ferocity, my cover fire. Allies again, or just survivors in the crosshairs. Hale's flip, from mark to puppet master, mirrored hers, a carousel of loyalty's illusions. Controversial? Damn right. Was I avenging Mom, or punishing Lila for daring to mirror my own buried flaws? The drive to control, to collect? Dawn broke gray over the Sierras, and Ramirez called again. Hit on Hale's crew, garage altercation. You involved. I lied smooth, stakeout gone sideways. He bought it, or pretended to. Watch your back, O'Connell. Family's the wild card. No shit. By noon, I was airborne to D.C., brass summoning for the full Monty. But Lila texted en route. We finish this together? For Mom. Together. The word tempted, treacherous. D.C. was a pressure cooker, J. Edgar's shadow long. Meetings in vaults where echoes of Watergate lingered. The deputy director, a hawk-faced vet named Harlan, dissected the op over classified briefings. Impressive takedown, Agent O'Connell. But these ethics flags. He tapped the file, eyes like laser sights. Sister's role. You shielded, then leveraged. Walk us through. I did, sanitized. Personal asset turned asset. Omitted the wrench, the wrenching. Harlan nodded, but his aide, a whip-smart analyst named Torres, lingered after. Off record, Hale's ranting about a '09 cover-up. Reno PD's digging cold cases. Digging. My pulse spiked. Lila's noose tightening from afar. Back in Vegas by week's end, the city felt smaller, suffocating. I tailed the remnants. Lowlifes holing up in a Fremont flophouse, plotting Hale's bail appeal. Eavesdropped via parabolic mic. Grabbed the sister, leverage on the Fed. Leverage. Me. Through her. I moved preemptive, cornered their lieutenant in a 7-Eleven lot, badge flashing. FBI. Drop the burner, or I drop you. He complied, spilling. Hale's plan. Frame Lila for the full skim. Pin the Reno hit on me as familial collusion. Flip again. Hale, the ultimate schemer, turning betrayal into a boomerang. I cuffed him, but the seed? Sown. Was Lila innocent now, victim of his venom? Or complicit, her envy the fertilizer? I drove to her latest hide, a trailer park off Boulder Highway, wind chimes clinking like warnings. Found her packing, duffel half zipped. They're coming, I said. She nodded, no surprise. Knew it. Victor doesn't lose quiet. We talked then, real talk, over lukewarm beer on sagging steps, stars pricking the smog dome. I envied you. Yeah, she admitted. But loved you more. Reno. I thought it fixed us. Vegas broke it. Love. The controversial currency, worth billions, or bankruptcy. Then help me end it. I pressed. Testify against Hale's appeals. Bury him for good. She agreed. I steal. But as she hugged goodbye, fierce, fleeting, I felt the twist coil. Her duffel? Bulging with cash bands, fresh from God knows where. Skim's ghost, or seed money for flight. Trust fractured, but family? It mends crooked. That night, alone in my wind suite, I stared at the strip's pulse below, neon veins throbbing with promise and peril. Revenge's arc bent toward what? Justice felt distant, a mirage. And as Hale's crew closed in, I wondered, was I the avenger, or the mark in Lila's longest con? The ambush came at dawn, Hale's goons crashing my suite like a bad sequel, doors splintering, shadows spilling in with suppressed pops. I rolled off the king, Sig Sauer barking from under the pillow, glass shattering in symphonic chaos. Two down, gurgling. The third bolted, but not before a graze kissed my shoulder, hot and accusatory. Blood seeped, staining the Egyptian cotton as I called it in. Calm, clipped. Officer needs assistance. Win, penthouse. Sirens wailed biblical, Vegas's mechanical hymn. Medics patched me in the ER, staples itching under gauze, while feds swarmed the scene. Ramirez arrived, face thunderous. This your mess, O'Connell? Hill's boys don't hit random. I shrugged, wincing. Must be my cologne, Eau de Vendetta. He wasn't laughing. Torres flagged it. Your sister's prints on that Reno line? DA's reopening. And Hale's lawyers filing conspiracy, claiming you orchestrated the raid to cover family dirt. Conspiracy. The word ricocheted, turning my revenge into a hall of mirrors. I'd started this for Mom, for the cards, but now? The Bureau's hounds bayed at my heels. I checked out against Doc's orders, drove erratic to Lila's trailer, tires spitting gravel, mind a maelstrom. Found it torched, skeletal frames smoking under the rising sun. Empty. A note pinned to a singed lawn chair. Couldn't wait. Sorry, bro, fix your own brakes. L. Brakes. Her parting shot, laced with venom. She'd bolted with the duffel, cash, no doubt, funding a one-way to oblivion. Betrayal's encore, flipping victim to villain mid-curtain. I crumpled the note, fury boiling. Called her burner. Voicemail. That automated purr mocking me. Lila, you coward. Run all you want. Debts follow. Hung up, but the void echoed. Back at the field office, the storm broke. Harlan himself, via video from D.C., face pixelated but piercing. Agent O'Connell, you're benched. Indefinite. Internal Affairs wants your badges, literal and figurative. Badges. Plural. The Reno file had metastasized. DA linking Mom's crash to Hale's early network. Insurance fraud ring. '09 edition. Lila's cut. The tampered line. Payout funneled to offshore precursors I'd later trace in Neon Phantom. And me? The cover-up artist, falsifying alibis, burying reports. You bore her sins, Harlan intoned, and now they bury you. Bore them. Yeah, like Christ on a cross, but with spreadsheets and subpoenas. I logged off, desk emptying into a box, plaque, mug, the ghost of ambition. Outside, Henderson sprawl baked under July haze, mirages dancing on asphalt. America, land of second chances, unless you're the fool who trusted family. I hit the road east, no plan, just escape, the kind drifters chase in Springsteen ballads. Stopped in St. George, Utah, that Red Rock purgatory, holed up in a Super 8 with peeling wallpaper and HBO static. Nights blurred, bourbon from a minibar flask, pouring over case ghosts on a laptop. Hale's appeals gained traction, his sharks citing familial bias in my testimony, painting me as the puppet, Lila the string puller. Public defender assigned to her, wherever she hid, fought extradition, but whispers grew, Reno DA eyeing manslaughter charges. Twist deepened when Torres called, off books. Quinn, unofficial. Found something in Hale's prison mail, letter to Lila, post-rate. Promises clean slate if she flips back, testifies you coerced her. Coerced. The word stung, truth's ugly cousin. Had I? In the safe house, whiskey loosening her will, codes spilling like confessions. Gray area, vast as the desert. But Hale? The schemer supreme, flipping allegiances like poker hands, ally to Lila in Vegas, blackmailer in Ely, now martyr in appeals. His decisions? Controversial lightning rods, launder for the mob one day, snitch for a deal the next. Polarizing prick, robbing grandma's savings one breath, funding orphanages the next, tax write-off, sure, but optics sell. Made readers. Hell, me. Question, was he monster or mirror, reflecting our own hustles? I drove north, Chasing leads on Lila. Pings from her last card swipe. A greyhound in Salt Lake, bound for. Where? Mom's old Bible verse echoed. Prodigal son returns, fatted calf slaughtered. But daughters? They scatter, debts unpaid. Landed in Boise, her cold exile, staking out the AA hall she'd name-dropped. Spotted her third night. Thinner, hair cropped short, leading a meeting on step 9, making amends. Amends. Irony's blade. I slipped in back, anonymous in the folding chair circle, her voice steady. Hurt the ones closest, sister, mostly. Borrowed trust, broke it. Listeners nodded, empathetic drones. I seethed silent. Post-meeting, she clocked me in the parking lot. Rain spitting from Idaho clouds. Quinn, knew you'd come collecting. We walked the lot, puddles mirroring sodium halos, tension crackling like static. The fire, your crew? She asked. I shook head. Hales. He's flipping you again, says I coerced. Her laugh, hollow. Victor's playbook. Burn the bridge, blame the builder. But Reno, that was me. Own it. Ownership. Rare as an honest dealer. She confessed more, unprompted. Post-Vegas, she'd skimmed Hale's remnant pot. Not for flight, but payback. Stole from the thief. Thought it'd square mom. Square? That's compound, sis. But her eyes, raw, stripped, cracked my armor. Help me turn myself in, she whispered. For real this time. Reno, all of it. Together? The word tempted again, treacherous. I nodded, but inside, the schemer stirred, my inner Hale, plotting the play. Drove her to the state line that night, border blurring in fog. Dropped her at a Boise PD substation, watched her walk in, shoulders squared. Called Ramirez on route back. Got a walk-in on Reno 09. Familial. He met me at a flying J off I-84, truckers hawking burgers under harvest moons. You delivered her? After benching. I nodded, handing the recorded confession. Her voice, clear as a bell. Closes the loop. Hill's appeals? Dead on arrival. He clapped my back, gruff approval. Redemption arc, O'Connell. Brass'll love it. Redemption. But as I gunned south, doubts dogged. Had I orchestrated her surrender, or genuine grace? Lila's flip, from runner to rat to repentant, mirrored mine. A carousel of controversial calls. Polarizing? Absolutely. Readers would split. Heroic closure, or manipulative mercy. Vegas welcomed me back changed, strip lights softer, sins sharper. Reinstated by week's end, Harlan's video terse, files sealed. Good work. But the medal ceremony? Cancelled. Optics, they said. Family ties too tangled for spotlights. I didn't care. Revenge is high-faded, leaving ash. Then the call. Torres, urgent. Quinn, Lila's deal? It's off. Hale got to the DA, planted evidence. She's charged federal. Conspiracy in neon. Planted. The snake strikes again. Hale, from bars, flipping the board. My blood boiled. Betrayal's hydra, heads multiplying. I stormed Ely State, visitor log greased with a badge flash. Hale in the glass booth, orange jumpsuit mocking his Brioni days, grin sly as a bad bet. Riley or O'Connell. Family reunions bittersweet. I leaned in, mic crackling. You touched her deal? What? He chuckled low. Loyalty, Quinn. She was mine first. Reno payout funded my start. You? Just the cleanup crew. Mine. Possessive prick. But the twist uncoiled. Lila hadn't skimmed for payback. She'd funneled to Hale, post-raid, buying his silence on Reno. Our little secret, he purred. Until you forced her hand. Forced. The word looped, guilt's noose. I left fuming, but scheming. One last play. Leak Hale's prison comms, smuggled notes proving tampering. Fed it anonymous to Torres. Watched the dominoes fall. Hale's appeals crushed, solitary for life. Lila's charges? Dropped, immunity reinstated, double-dipped. She called from protection, voice small. Free again. Thanks, bro. Thanks. Debt's ledger balanced? Or just deferred? As I hung up, staring at the strip's eternal glow, I wondered, victory or vicious cycle? In America's gamble, no one's all in or all out. Fall crept into Vegas like a hangover. Crisp edges to the heat, leaves skittering across casino valets like discarded chips. My reinstatement held, but the shine tarnished quick. Desk duty, audits on audits, the Bureau's way of saying, prove you're clean. Clean. As if ethics were bleach for bloodstains. Lila's freedom bought peace, fragile as a house of cards in a crosswind. But Hale's Hydra lurked. Whispers of his offshore remnants, ghost accounts I'd missed in the raid. Torres became unlikely ally, coffee-fueled nights in Henderson war rooms, tracing digital breadcrumbs. Your sister's out, but Hale's web? Spiders everywhere, she'd say, screens glowing with transaction webs. Spiders. Fitting. Hale the Black Widow, spinning flips from his cage. His latest? Bribing a guard to shank a snitch witness, framing it as cartel hit, to discredit the controversial calculus. Sacrifice pawn for king, polarizing the yard into Hale loyalists versus Fed plants. Me? I itched for field, but Ramirez chained me. Heel first, hero. Heel. Shoulder scar ached in the chill, a reminder of that sweet shootout. Goon's eyes wild, not with hate, but fear. Fear of Hale's reach, the man who turned betrayal into brand. I hit the gym instead, pounding bags till knuckles split, channeling rage into rhythm. Mom's voice in my ear. Fight smart, Quinn, not hard. Smart fight brewed when a package arrived. No cinder, FedEx ghost. USB drive, labeled family debts. Plugged it in, hearts slamming. Videos, grainy. Lila in a Tahoe cabin, tin vintage, counting stacks with a hooded Hale. For the Reno fix, her voice, young and jagged. Mom's gone, now we build. Build. His empire, on her guilt. More files. Texts, 15. Her tipping his crews on bank audits, pre my involvement. Brothers in FCU, watch the wires. Blindside. She'd been playing long game, weaving me in unwittingly. Envy? Nah. Symbiosis, sister feeding the beast that fed her. I hurled the laptop, screen cracking like trust. Called her, venom spitting. Tahoe 10. You built him, with mom's blood money. Silence stretched, then sob. Quinn, I was lost. Victor promised absolution. Pay the debt, start fresh. It spiraled. Spiraled. Understatement for a vortex. And me? Collateral. Her whisper. Leverage. Thought I could control it. Protect you from the deep end. Protect. The lie we O'Connells told best. I hung up, storming the office. Ramirez's door banging open. Hale's origin? My sister. Funded by mom's insurance. He whistled low. Jesus, Quinn. That's explosive. Explosive. We mobilized quiet. Torres decrypting the drive, me prepping warrants. But Hale smelled blood. His lawyer filed motion. New evidence exonerates client. Familial conspiracy by O'Connell siblings. Siblings. Plural. Drag me in, muddied waters. Media sniffed. Local rags splashing, Fed agents kin in crime web. Polarizing presser. Hale the victim, us the villains. Climax coiled tight. Vegas humming with tension. Lila surfaced, unbidden, knocking at my doorpost midnight. Face gaunt under porch light. Saw the headlines. Can't run forever. We talked, bourbon burning bridges. Her confessions raw. Reno panic. Tahoe packed. Vegas is Hail Mary to bail out. Victor flipped me first. Blackmail to loyalty. But you? I flipped for you in the end. Flipped. The words carousel spun. Her for Hale, me for Bureau, Hale for survival. No saints, just sinners scheming. Help us nail him permanent. I pressed. Testify the drive all. She nodded, but eyes shadowed. And after? We even. The Holy Grail. We struck at dawn. Join op. SWAT on Hale's prison transfer van. En route to federal holding. Ambush scripted. Roadblock on 95. Dust devils dancing. But twist hit hard. Van flips. Engineered sabotage. Guards down. Hale escapes in the melee. Ghosting into the scrub. Chaos. Gunfire cracks. My shoulder screaming as I dive for cover. Lila, embedded as consultant, screams my name. Bullet whizzing past, grazing her arm. We pursue, desert swallowing tracks. Me and Torres in a dust-caked Tahoe, Lila patched in back. He planned this, she gasps. Bribed the driver. Flips again, using me as bait. Bait. The ultimate controversial call. Hale sacrificing crew for freedom, leaving bodies like bad bets. Readers would rage, genius or ghoul. Radio crackles, sighting at an abandoned mine off Goldfield, ghost town bones. We converge, sun baking the arroyos, tension taut as piano wire. Breach the shack, creaking door, shadows thick. Hale there, wild-eyed, shotgun leveled. Family reunion, he bellows, grin manic. Lila steps forward, voice steel. It's over, Victor. Drives with feds, your web's untangled. He laughs, barrel swinging. You? My Eve, built from ribs of regret. And him, nods at me. The serpent, tempting falls. Serpent, me? Or him, flipping scripture to suit. I circle left, sig steady. Drop it, hail. Game's rigged, your deal. Standoff stretches, dust motes dancing in sun shafts. Cinematic, controversial crux. He could shoot, flee, flip once more. Lila pleads, for the girl I was, let go. Controversial mercy? Or ploy? His eyes flicker, calculation, then crack. Barrel dips. Always the soft spot, Lila. I lunge, cuffs snapping, clean takedown, knee and back. But as SWAT swarms, he whispers to her. Debt's eternal, love. Watch your brother. He collects with interest. Interest. My revenge is shadow, cast long. Back in Vegas, debriefs drag. Hale recaged, drives files torching his appeals. Lila testifies, arm and sling, voice unwavering. Charges stick. Life, no parole. Brass clears me. Hero's arc, metal pinned in quiet ceremony. But the high? Hollow. Lila and I meet post-trial, Eiffel Tower lounge at Paris. Ironic perch over the strip. Toasts with champagne, bubbles mocking the bitterness. Even now, she asks. I clink glasses. Debts evolve. But family's the house. We always come home. Home. The American myth, fractured but fierce. As lights pulse below, I spot the ambiguity. My revenge, dark, tense, pushed her to light, or just deeper dark. Hale's flips polarized, but ours? The real debate, was absolution earned, or just another con? Winter gripped Vegas like a vice. Rare snow dusting the palms, turning the strip into a fever dream of slush and sparkle. Hale's empire crumbled final. Assets seized, lieutenants flipping like dominoes. Headlines crowing, Fed triumph over Shadow Syndicate. My face blurred in bylines. Hero anonymous, scars private. Lila vanished into deep protection, a new name in some Midwest nowhere. Omaha, maybe, or Des Moines. Cornfields and casseroles, absolution's bland bomb. But echoes lingered, debt's aftershocks. Bureau promoted me, supervisory special agent, FCU Vegas Field. Desk overlooked the valley, mountains jagged sentinels. Ramirez clapped my shoulder at the swearing-in. Earned it, kid. Family's wild card, play it straight. Straight. As if poker ever was. Nights, though? Ghost gambled. Dreams of Reno, '09. Mom's taillights fading, Lila's hands slick with oil, Hale's laugh slithering through. I'd wake sweating, bourbon calling from the nightstand. Therapy mandated. Shrink named Ellis, all nods and notes. Revenge cycle. Broke it? Or perpetuated? Perpetuated. The question gnawed, controversial core. My sabotage. The packet. The coercion. Justice's jagged edge, or vengeance's venom. Torres filled the void, partner in caffeine and cases. New op. Crypto cons and blockchain barns, but off hours? Dive bars, dissecting the fall. Hale was chaos incarnate, she'd say, stirring a gin. Flips kept him alive, us too, in a way. Alive. Yeah, my badge breathed, but soul? Battered. Twist dropped Easter Sunday. Package at my door, no return. Manila envelope, mom's handwriting on the flap. For Quinn, when ready. Heart stuttered. Inside. Letter, yellowed, dated '09. Mom's script. Kids, if this finds you, know I chose the road. Breaks fine, debt's heavier. Lila tried fixing, love her fierce. Forgive, or it eats you. Chose. Suicide, staged as accident. To spare us the collectors, the shame. Lila's tamper. Not murder, mercy mangled. I crumpled, tears hot. Called Lila's handler, clean line. Tell her. Mom's truth. Silence, then, she knows. Always did. That's the debt. Always. The buried secret, exhumed. She'd borne it solo, Reno's weight, Vegas her unraveling. Me? I'd avenged a lie, punished her for ghosts. Betrayal inverted. Hers deep, but mine? The blind blade. I drove to Ely unannounced. Hale's cage calling. Visitor booth sterile, his face gaunt, eyes sharp. O'Connell. Come gloat. No gloat, glean. Mom's letter. You knew. He nods, sly. Lila spilled in Tahoe. Your ma? Saint, sacrificing for sinners. I flipped it, used the guilt to build. Build. On bones. Why tell now? His shrug. Debts compound, but confessions compound peace. Even for spiders. Peace. Controversial gift from the devil. I left lighter, chains loosening. Back home, Lila arrived, unprotected, bold. Handler owed me. We hugged. Real, no knives. Over takeout foe, her new vice, ironic. Truths tumbled. Her envy real, but love deeper. Vegas cards a cry for collision, to force my eyes open. Wanted you to see me, not save me. See, the American bind, visibility over vulnerability. And Hale's end? Your flip sealed it. She smiles sad. Ours too. No more scheming. But schemes die hard. Weeks later, twist's tale, anonymous wire, $50K, exact Vegas drain, to my account. Sender, L. Payback, full circle. I traced it, clean, from a Reno estate sale. Mom's unsold heirlooms, auctioned quiet. Debt closed. Ending? Not tidy, life's no script. Lila stays west, new life. Counselor at a Tahoe halfway, amending amends. Me? Fueled again, chasing shadows, but lighter. Happy? Tragic? You debate. Was my revenge redemption's forge, polarizing path where right wrong's wrong? Or just kin's cruel casino, no winners, only survivors? In neon's glow, I raise a glass to ghosts. Mom's choice, Lila's load, Hale's hubris. Family's the eternal bet, all in or fold. Me? I ante up, eyes open. The house always wins, but tonight, we bluff back.